Action.
Where are you at?
I already
Casa Grande
Casa Grande
National Monument.
National Monument
Ruins.
Room in the background.
In Coolidge, Arizona.
Yeah. Today we explore an ancestral Sonoran Desert people's farming community and great house at Casa Grande Ruins National Monument, located at 1100 West Ruins Drive, Coolidge, Arizona. Whether the Casa Grande was a gathering place for the desert people or simply a waypoint marker in an extensive system of canals and trading partners is but part of the story of the ruins.
Step in.
Hello, welcome. How are you today?
Fine, how are you?
Good. I bet you want to be a junior ranger, don't you? Okay. Here's the book. Here's the pencil. And we'll give the badge to you.
Okay.
And when you're done, if you want, you can come back and we can sign off on it. And then you can get a stamp over there to show the day that you got it done.
Let's see your activities. It's got a map in there. Oh, goodness. You have to solve the number puzzles. And there's a search word. Match the plant's name to its picture. That's pretty easy. Circle the names of the animals you see in the park. So if you see it, you got to circle it. It says draw or write about how any of these plants are different today. Number the houses from oldest to newest. Where did your is? Okay. Okay. Match the word. Decorate. Search for. It says open the drawers. So you open them up. That's it. Choya. Yeah, you just reach. What is that?
You don't know.
It's cotton.
Oh. Yeah, I knew something.
Ready? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we just do. You want to
Walk around.
or yeah, well, I don't know where you start at. I guess it doesn't really matter.
Welcome back to today's video. This is Jack of Interest. You probably know.
This says it is a wolfberry or a tomatillo.
Cactus.
Yes.
Another cactus. Oh,
Saguaro. This tells you about before it had walls around it. 4,100 years ago, people began to grow corn, and more crops were introduced over time, and people became more settled and lived in the same place for longer periods of time instead of moving around all the time. They had houses called pit houses first, and they started digging canals to water their fields. And 1,500 years ago, larger villages began to appear in southern Arizona. 800 years ago, people began to build not only pit houses, but above the ground buildings and walled compounds like the ruins. And this tells about what they grew. Let's see, corn resembles ancient maize. They made baskets for harvesting the crops easier. People used stone tools to grind grains, and pottery helped store and protect food and seeds from pests. And this tells about farming. It says farming in this part of Arizona started 4,100 years ago with corn. And over the centuries, travelers brought in beans, squash, gourds, pumpkins, tobacco, and cotton. And then they dug the canals, and communities living along the ditches worked together to maintain their irrigation system, all their waterways there. The first Spaniards that visited Casa Grande in the late 1600s saw that people grew cotton, and because cotton does really good in hot climates, and it's a very, very thirsty crop. And without irrigation, it won't grow in a desert. Today, the farm fields near Casa Grande Ruins are still one of the largest cotton producing areas in the United States. Irrigation still makes desert farming possible. And it says the farmers living near Casa Grande traded cotton and surplus crops of raw material and other things. Copper bells and scarlet macaws came up from the south. Turquoise and obsidian came from the north and the east, and people in southern Arizona journeyed to the Sea of Cortez and to the Pacific, returning with seashells. And they made the shells into bracelets, rings, and pendants. There's 220 miles of canals. And the people irrigated as many as 19,000 acres of crops. And the earliest canals were built 3,500 years ago. And this one is going to tell about their life. It says the open spaces behind you and to your right are called plazas. They did the food preparations, they made pottery, they did spinning, weaving, baskets, and other chores. In the wintertime, people worked out in the open where the sun could warm them. In the summer, they used the shade alongside the buildings or worked under breezy ramadas. Open weave, wooden, and brush overhead shelters. They used the rooms for the family, sleeping quarters, storage, and ceremonies. You could pass into some rooms through doors in the walls. Others you could only enter from a rooftop hatch by climbing ladders. Children as young as 6 years old helped make the stuff that the community needed, like ceramic scoops to serve food. And the girls learned to make pottery, spin, weave, and boys worked on stone and wooden tools for farming and weapons for hunting. Built about 700 years ago. Little rooms that they have. This was their whole community. Oh, the birds. Remember, you gotta mark. Those look like pigeons, though. That one does. That might be a snake. I wonder if he's going after a snake. It looks like he's got a snake grabber. This is engineered selection.
Two of them.
Yeah, there's actually a third bird up there.
Oh yeah. The pigeons attacked one day.
Let's see. Picture the effort and skills needed to build something the size of Casa Grande without modern power tools, wheels, beasts of burdens, or support frames. So they had to do it all on their own. They didn't have stuff to help them. The ancient people, the ancestral people of the Sonoran Desert used Coolidge, a desert soil rich in calcium carbonate, to make the walls. Coolidge was dug and mixed with water in shallow pits to form stiff concrete-like material. They shaped the mud by hand to form the walls up to the heights you see. And if you look close at the walls, you can see the horizontal lines, and those lines show courses, the height a batch of Coolidge was piled. So the lines show how much they could do, and then they had to go make more. And because they knew what the soil was, that's how they were able to make it so that it would last more than 7 centuries. And now we're going to walk inside. Remember, don't touch the walls, right?
Yeah. You remember what they were telling you about the graffiti and stuff that's marked on the walls and who did it? People from the 1800s, remember? So those been there since the 1800s, those initials.
And it says harvesting a bountiful desert. And it says for centuries, people planted plants for food, medicine, and to make items for everyday living.
Like that.
And even though it can get up to 120 degrees here, there's a diversity, there's a bunch of differences of plant species that are found in the Sonoran Desert. Excuse me. And many plants have adapted to receiving only 9 inches of rain a year. And it says the rains peak 2 times a year, winter and in the late summer. And today, Native Americans follow traditions of collecting desert resources that have been passed down for centuries. The women gather the desert willow shoots, cattail, devil claw, yucca, and bear grass to make baskets. And then it shows you mesquite is for food, creosote is medicine, cholla is food, saguaro is food, and prickly pear is food. We have all their stuff here. Could you imagine if that was our house? And I shared it with other people. Bunch of food for themselves. Look, there's even like a little doorway right there. It goes into another room.
I had almost gone somewhere. What happens when I'll get used to eventually. So that, I'm sorry if some of my viewers have bigophobia.
And what?
Bigophobia, the fear of big things.
Ah.
Don't you know?
Well, I do now.
Yeah. I have that fear. Tall, big. Yeah, so this doesn't. Doesn't feel good of things.
And this talks about the irrigation communities. It says the walled compound where you're standing was one community of a bunch of communities that built along the canal system. An eagle flying high over this Gila Valley River 1,000 years ago would have seen dozens of villages with wide irrigated fields. Extended families usually shared rooms and open areas in the compound like the one you're in now. Several compounds together made up a village. Villages along a network of canals work together to keep the irrigation water flowing into the field. So everybody worked together to keep the area watered. And the largest villages were often found in the beginning and end of the canals. And you would find ball courts and platform mounds and some structures like Casa Grande. Large sites like Casa Grande were gathering places where people celebrated ceremonies and harvests. So see all the little places along and ours, the one we're at, is great big. And it says it's not just for the compound was not just for survival, but also a place for their arts. Imagine you were in the plaza 700 years ago and you could smell wood and hear the dogs barking and kids playing, and beyond the 7-foot tall outer compound wall, green fields, well-watered fields of corn, beans, squash, and cotton stretched along the canal for miles. And on a normal day, someone would be grinding corn, others would be making pots, weaving or spinning cotton. Artisans were carving shells or pendants out of stones like turquoise and argillite. Other craftsmen made arrowheads, stone axes, and farm tools. And Casa Grande's wealth and security rested on food and cotton coming from lush fields. The farmers had to spend a lot of their time every day to tend their fields and the canals. And the artifacts found at Casa Grande Ruins reveal that people once lived here were highly skilled artisans. That means they were good artists. And they made trading trips to the Gulf of California, Pacific Ocean, and that's how they got their jewels. Their not jewels, but their shells to make beads, bracelets, and pendants.
We're covering up the river. So if you want to follow me for a second. Holy crap, how do you walk with all the junior rings bed?
In the 17 and 1800s, little bits of travelers came by Casa Grande. First it was Spanish explorers, and then Mexicans, and then American, and they wondered who built this and why. So more people visited after 1879 when the railroad first reached the town of Casa Grande 19 miles away. Travelers scratched their names in the wall. That's what Daddy was talking about over there, where you can see the names in the wall. And some took away artifacts and even pieces of the wall as souvenirs. In 1889, Congress voted to protect the ruins from further vandalism and looting. They voted to pay for clearing away debris and repairing the eroded foundations. The wood beams and metal rods you see today were installed in 1891 to brace up some of the walls. 3 years later, the government made Casa Grande the nation's first archaeological preserve. And it says, who named Casa Grande? A Jesuit missionary, explorer, and mapmaker, Eusebio Francisco Kino, was the first European to see and document these ruins in 1694. Father Kino called the building Casa Grande, Spanish for great house. And they're doing exactly what the signs say not to. They're touching the walls and stuff like that, and that's wrong. Why build the Casa Grande? It says archaeologists don't know for sure, but its original purpose remains a puzzle. Here are still more questions than answers. Was it ancient astronomical observatory? Why did the walls line up north, south, east, and west? We can still observe the sun and moon line up with certain holes in the wall before you, year in and year out. Oh, so see the holes in the wall? It's the sun and the moon line up with those. And there's those pigeons still up there.
They're watching us.
They are. You know what they should do?
What?
They should like, subscribe, and share, huh? And it says, were sacred ceremonies held here? Did a leader who oversaw the all-important irrigation canals work inside these rooms? Did an influential family or clan call Casa Grande their home? The answers remain unknown, but it likely served many purposes and functions. Why do you think the ancestral Sonoran Desert people built the impressive multi-story building? So, no, I was looking at the... It says we're here, and the summer solstice, the sun lines up through small hole over there on the longest day of the year, and on the top there for spring and fall equinox, the rising sun lines up with twin openings in the top floor in March and September. Okay, so that's the summer solstice. And then up there is twin openings for spring and fall. And then this one over here, very rare lunar event. When the sun stands still in the sky twice a year, at solstices, the moon stands still in the sky only once every 18.6 years. And the hole marks that lunar event.
We're here. It's fenced off because it is. Yeah. Subscribe, like and subscribe, and make sure the pigeons don't attack you.
So we'll take a look at this first. Yes. Okay. Can you raise your right hand?
Raise your The other right hand.
Other right hand. And repeat after me. I, tell me your name,
Jack,
promise to explore,
promise to explore,
protect,
protect,
and learn about
learn about
America's
America's
national park areas.
national park areas
Because
because
I
I
am a junior ranger. Good
am
job.
a junior ranger.
Thank you. And then can we also, where are we? Right there.
Okay. And the stamp's over there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ready? Let's go get it stamped. This way. There we go, Jack.